In this lesson, we're going to take a look at scene states. Scene states allows you to set different preferences and hide different objects in the scene and save that state to be used, for example, when rendering. Open the file house_scene_states start.max. This scene is the environment that we've been working on. Scene states can be used to record different properties from the objects in the scene and recall them later. In this case, we're going to save some scene states in our scene that will allow us to render different passes later. There are many properties that you can save with the scene. The first thing that we'll do is set up some lighting states. You'll see that we have a light in the scene, and we'll select that light. First thing we'll do is record this state, which is like a daytime illumination. We can right click and see that we have Save Scene State and Manage Scene State. Click on Save Scene State and this dialog will pop up. There are many attributes that we can save for our scene state: light properties, light transforms, object properties, camera properties and transforms, layers, materials, and environments. In this case, we're going to save our light properties, and we'll also save the transforms. We'll set the name to be daylight and click on save. Now we'll change the lighting slightly. We'll go ahead to change the hour to about 19, and the multiplier gets adjusted with the position of the light. In this case, we'll just change the color a little bit towards a bluer light. Right click and say Save Scene State As. We'll save this as Night Light. Now we have two different lighting setups in scene states. If we want to recall them, we can go to Tools and open Manage Scene States, or we can get it from the right click menu. We also have a new entry now, which is Restore Scene State. So we can choose daylight, and the light goes back to where it was with the multiplier, or we can choose night light, and we can toggle between any scene states we have. This is also really useful for modeling and other types of scene operations, as well as rendering. Let's take a look at some other properties we can set up with scene states. We'll set some properties up for the geometry in the scene. We'll select all the geometry in the scene, and we'll save the scene states for the object properties and materials. So this will be a pass called All RGB, and we'll click Save. Now we can make some changes. If we want to create a mat for the house there, we can select the logs and the table, as well as the bench and the ashes, and we'll just hide those. Select the house, and we'll just give it a matte material. Will just be white with self-illumination of 100%, and we'll invert the selection and assign everything else black with 100% illumination, which will create a simple mat for the scene. We can now right click and save this scene state as House Mat. We can go back at any time to our All RGB pass, and all of the object properties are returned. If we go to the matte pass, you can see that the materials and the objects have been hidden. As you can see, it's very easy and fast to set up different states for your scene that can be recalled at any time just by using the right click menu. Also, this information can be passed on to a batch renderer, as we'll see in a later lesson. So right click, and let's take a quick look at the Manage Scene States. And we get this dialog that has all of the scene states we've recorded. We can select them and save new attributes, or we can restore that scene state, rename, or delete it from here. If we decide for our house mat scene state, we can add a different property if we wanted to also add maybe the environment. So we can select it and say save, and it asks us if we want to overwrite the scene state, which we do. And now that's been updated. If you don't need a scene state anymore, you can select it and delete it. 3ds Max 8 has made it very easy to manage your scene states, and it's really powerful for workflow as well as rendering productions.